Hello, Holy Cross community, and welcome to this week's, it's the third episode of Turn the Tables, where our students are cooking for their parents during quarantine, or whatever we want to call this phase that we're in right now. So I want to introduce to you a term that you may not know, and it's called mise en place. It is French, and it means basically to put everything in its place. So a trick of mine, something that works for me, may not work for everybody, but I like to have all my ingredients measured and in front of me before I even start making whatever I'm making, whatever dish. So I already have everything measured out in front of me for the butternut squash lasagna dish. So I'm going to give you a moment, press pause here, and do the same. Get the list that I had shared earlier in the week, and measure out all of your ingredients, because I think that it'll make the experience that much more enjoyable, because you just sort of go along, you can clean up too as you go, and then when you're done and you have it in the oven, you think, I've accomplished something so big, I just made dinner for my family. So pause it right here, do that, and then come back, okay? All right, welcome back. So we're gonna make a noodleless, say that 10 times fast, noodleless butternut squash lasagna. So essentially, the discs of butternut squash that we'll be cutting will serve as the noodles in between the layers of our cheese and spinach and mushrooms and a nice bechamel sauce, which we're going to get to making right now. So a bechamel sauce is essentially milk and flour, and you make a roux and then add cheese. So I have a pot waiting here, and to that I am going to add not the full amount of milk, so we need 3 cups of milk, but to the pot right now, I'm going to be adding 2.5 cups. So I have 2 here, and then I do need to add up to pour out another 1/2 cup of milk. You may hear my kids in the background. It's remote learning right now, so they're doing that in the other room. So you may hear their tiny voices. All right, so we have 2.5 cups. So I'm going to put this on the stove, and again, 2.5 cups just alone. We're going to heat this just to steaming. You don't want it to boil. So I would say put it on a moderate heat. Okay, so that's going to be heating up to steaming, and we have to have our flour mixed in with the remaining 1/2 cup of milk. So one last 1/2 cup of milk. And to that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Now, as you all know, or if you've been following me here, you know that I'm gluten-free. So I'm going to use a gluten-free, this is a baking flour, but this is what I had around right now. So I'm going to use this 1-to-1 gluten-free flour. And I'm just going to pop that into my cold milk. It's going to splatter up at me. Told you that was going to happen. So we're going to whisk that together. So basically, we're doing this. We're adding this to a smaller amount of milk, the flour to a smaller amount of milk, to temper it in. So we're actually getting the lumps out here. So when we add it to the larger amount of milk, it's not going to clump up. It's going to be absorbed in. So almost like you're making a paste right now. So try to get as many lumps out as you can. Fork on glass doesn't sound very good, does it? But you're in your own kitchen. It doesn't matter, okay? It's the end result that matters. The taste of that yummy, gooey butternut squash lasagna that's going to matter. Has anybody else decorated for Halloween? I got a few things out this weekend. I said I wasn't going to decorate, but I have so many things already that I might as well put them up. So these always cheer me up when I come down from upstairs, our little jack-o'-lantern lights. All right. So you see this? It's like a paste, very pasty. And we're going to wait till our 2.5 cups of milk, wait till that's steaming, and then we're going to whisk this in, and that's what becomes a roux. A roux is a white flour with milk, and then we're going to add in the cheese, all the cheese, and that's going to make a bechamel sauce. So I'm going to look at my milk. I'm actually going to turn this down a bit. Let's see if we can, probably going to see my mess over here, but oh well. Okay, so I'm just going to use my hand. You can tell it's heating up. You could even whisk it a little bit just to make sure none of the milk is sticking to the bottom. Okay, so we're waiting for that to steam. Drop a little bit more. And I'm going to grab a spatula. Haha. There is no spatula. I'll grab a spoon to get ready to put this flour and milk mixture in. All right. Okay, so we're back. I can tell that the milk is steaming. I can see steam rising from above. I can smell it, and there's some bubbles on the top, so I know that something's happening, and I even felt it, and it's hot yet not boiling. So I'm now going to put in our flour and milk mixture, get that all in, and then we'll start to whisk pretty vigorously to get it incorporated. Make sure you get this, all that in. Okay, put that aside. All right, so I'm gonna start whisking that. And now we wanna whisk it for at least a minute, and you're gonna see it transition. You're gonna see it start to thicken. And even if you take a spoon, and if you had a wooden spoon, and once we're about a minute in, if you lift it up and you were to put your finger along the back of the wooden spoon, it would hold the line left by your finger. So it's starting to get thicker, but we're not there yet. We have about a minute. Okay, so we've been whisking for about a minute, and I'm actually going to show you the trick. I know it's ready. I'm going to turn off the heat, because when we add the cheese, it's just simply going to melt in there because it's gotten hot enough. But I'm going to show you what I mean. So I put some of this mixture in the back of a spoon. You see it? And when I go like this, that line stays. So you see how it got much thicker when we were whisking it. So we know it's ready. And now we are going to mix in the cheese. So you want 2 ounces of cream cheese. And the great thing about a cream cheese bar is that it marks off the ounces for you. So just cut off 2 ounces, okay? And we're gonna pop that into our milk and flour mixture. Be careful not to splatter, all right? And then also we're gonna add in a cup of Parmesan that I just grated from a block of Parmesan. We're gonna get some fresh pepper in there, about a half a teaspoon.
I didn't write it in.
Let's stick into that. About a half a teaspoon of fresh, I usually eyeball pepper and salt, but if you feel more comfortable, you can grind it out and measure it. And then about a half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then finally, 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. All right. Oh, it smells like fall. Like, to me, that's what fall is all about, and it'll give it a nice warm flavor. So we're gonna whisk those together, and that will be our bechamel. Oh my gosh, I just have to show you this.
Can you check if I
Let's see, can you see it? Oh, it's gonna be so cheesy. And now again, I don't have the heat on.
Bye.
I'm just whisking that in, and this is gonna be the sauce. Our lasagna is not gonna have a red sauce, it's gonna have a white sauce. A white cheesy sauce. So because the milk and flour were very warm, hot, the cheese is really just blending right into there. And I'll show it to you in a second again. After I get my arm working on here. My son is now, you want to say hello to the Holy Cross community? This is my son, Lewis.
Hi.
He is 9 and in 4th grade.
I just finished school for today.
Yay! Nice accomplishment. I know each day is a win. I know we all feel that, no matter what age of a student you are. Each day is a win. So pat yourself on the back. Okay. I have whisked that all in, and it is creamy magic. Oh, look at it. Okay? Creamy, cheesy magic. Okay. Put that aside. Now, we need to cook the other vegetables that we're going to put in. So we, based on the ingredient list, right, you need 8 ounces of sliced white mushrooms. Lucky me. I bought them washed and sliced already. So I'm going to heat up 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have my olive oil over here. So into a saute pan. And again, I eyeball. I do eyeball. I probably put in more than I should, but I'm going to put this on a medium-high heat. We're going to be cooking mushrooms and onions. So like I said, I already have mine. If you can save time and skip a step and buy something that's sliced already, I say go for it. Just like butternut squash, if you can, some stores sell it already peeled and core, peeled and the seeds also taken out, which is awesome. So peeled, halved, and then seeded. It does help. Right now I'm going to have to deal with this in a little bit, okay? All right, so we're getting our oil heated up. I am going to move some things out of the way here. I am going to cut our medium onion. I'm going to move this down so you can see me doing this. Okay, move some things out of the way. All right, so the onion, you want to take the outer layer off. Or at least the skin off, but sometimes that first layer comes off too, and I'm usually okay with that because it just gets the outer layer off that much easier. Okay, and then I am going to cut this in half. And then as I showed you previously, maybe you didn't see my last episode before, the easiest way to dice an onion, obviously you don't want your fingers anywhere near it, hold your palm, and you can make a couple slices, depending on how big your onion is, a couple slices inward towards the root end. This one I can get 2 slices in because it's a larger onion. And then I'm going to cut perpendicular to those slices to create an easy way to dice. All right, and then I'm just going to dice this one, go perpendicular to the slice you just did, and look at what you have. You have beautiful onion. Diced onion, just don't cut yourself. All right, so I'm going to finish up dicing my onion, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I finished chopping the onion, so we have 1 onion chopped, and again, we have those 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. My daughter, Margot, just popped in after her remote learning ended, and may help out with us, may leave, whatever you want to do. So Margot, do you want to add these 8 ounces to, just be careful, that's hot, okay? So add it to the hot pan with oil.
With oil that could burn me.
Do you want me to do it?
No, okay. Just dump it in.
I just dump it in there. See? It sizzles. It sizzles, but it's okay. All right, that, and also I'm going to bring this over. What I find is just easier, just bring the cutting board over with you.
And dump it in.
Slide in what you've diced up. Okay? And maybe this back here for some other things. So we are just, I'm really short on utensils. I must have them all in the dishwasher. Okay. So we are just sauteing this up, I would say for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to stir this once in a while. The onions are going to become translucent, start to brown a bit, and then the mushrooms are going to lose some of their water. But let's let this go for about 5 minutes and checking on it periodically to stir it. So in the meantime, my onions are going, you can hear them sizzling. I have a timer for 5 minutes. I am going to squeeze out our frozen spinach. So I've actually put it into a colander from the frozen state for a while, and it's still very wet, but at least it's not frozen anymore. I'm actually going to take it over the sink and just squeeze it through the colander a bit to get rid of some of the liquid that's still in there. You want it to be pretty dry.
Liquid right here.
Can you see the liquid coming out? I don't know. That's okay if you don't. But.
Well, you see, yeah, they can see it. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry if you can see my dirty sink too, but that's just the way it is right now.
Dirty sink.
So I'm just really squeezing it and then pushing it against the holes of the colander to get out the water. Okay.
See how wet it was when it was sitting down?
But then even you can keep that down. You can also plop it out onto some paper towel. Margaret, you want to give the onions and mushrooms a stir?
It won't hurt me, right?
Nope. It's only on 6, so it's not too bad. So I may have not put enough on here, but you can also use this as sort of a cheesecloth. Whoop. You can already see it squeezing out. All right, so I'm going to bring that to the sink and squeeze out more water. So I'm just going to squeeze it out over here. If you have cheesecloth, use that, but look at, even a couple paper towels. I'm holding it from the bottom because I feel like it is going to split open. But look at how much liquid is in here, my goodness. Oh, it is popping out the bottom. All right. We're going to say that's good enough then, okay? So I am coming back here with my, it's two 10-ounce packages of frozen chopped spinach. Say that again 10 times fast. So we have that in here, as dried out as you can get it. And then I'm going to add in the half cup of ricotta. And I think I said part skim ricotta. I go with any kind. I actually usually use full fat. It's just the way I am. This is what mine looked like when I bought it. And I just used a half a cup of that. Ricotta is great just on its own with like some pineapple or some kind of tropical fruit on top of it for like a dessert. All right, so I'm just mixing that up, the spinach and the ricotta, and then I'm going to put it aside. Okay, and my mushrooms and onions are still going. All right, so that's well mixed. I'm just going to leave it right here. I have my 2 cloves of garlic coming up. All right, I'm going to check on the mushrooms and onions. All right, we still have a few more minutes on that, so continue to stir your mushroom and onions and keep checking on that for a couple more minutes. All right, so our buzzer just went off for 5 minutes on the mushrooms and onions, so I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to use my masher, or my masher, whatever you want to call it. So 2 cloves of garlic. These are big cloves, but I like garlic. Okay, 2 cloves of garlic. This is a very, very useful tool, and also strengthens your forearms.
She's mashing. She's mashing up the garlic with.
There we go. It's very large, and I couldn't.
With the masher thing.
All right, there we go. I'm not even using the right cooking tool. I wish I had one of my spatulas. Okay, so we've done that. Now we're going to add the marjoram. 1 teaspoon dried marjoram. If you didn't have this, you could use basil, oregano, maybe a little bit less oregano. But you could sub out really, it's sort of like a riff on an Italian dish, so you could really use any Italian spice, I think. We're going to do some salt and pepper. So a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Mix that up again. And then we'll be adding in our cooking wine. So you can use regular white wine, but if you do not have that at home and you want to keep something that's more shelf stable, you can have keep some white cooking wine in your pantry. I'm going to show you that in a second. All right, so I mixed all those ingredients in. And so this is just dry cooking wine. There's a lot of different brands out there, but if you don't keep alcohol at home or want to have something that's more shelf stable, like once it opens, you can still keep it in your pantry, go with that. So we have 1/2 cup of that. We're going to pour it in, and it's called Deglazing the Pan. So if there are any brown bits or anything, you want to scrape those up.
Yep.
Because that's yumminess. And it'll also thicken a bit. The wine will cook off, but you'll get that nice flavor. I'm actually going to turn it up a little bit. Turn it up. All right, so we're going to, that's going to cook it for another minute. And once we feel like the wine has evaporated, then we remove it from the heat. And we are almost to assembly. I just have to take care of this huge butternut squash. So I will give you the beginning stages of it once I pull this off the heat. Okay, so our mushroom and onions have sauteed with the cooking wine for about 2 minutes, and I've taken them off the stove. So most of the liquid disappeared, and the mushrooms and onions have softened, and it smells delicious. So now we need to tackle this. Okay, so I want you to be very careful when cutting it. You do want to peel it, so simply using a peeler or a paring knife. So, hold it away from you and peel down towards the cutting board or the surface that you're working on. So I'm going to peel this whole thing. Okay, so let's tackle cutting this baby into rounds, okay? So I would take off the end and discard that, okay? And then if you have a mandolin and you're comfortable with using it, then go with that. But mandolins, I've learned, are very dangerous. And I just prefer to use a knife and keep my hands really far away. So we're going to cut it into basically thin rounds. So I would say, I don't know what that is, 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 to 1/4. Not all of them are going to be perfect, and that's okay. So continue to cut the whole squash into thin rounds. Let's see, I'll show you one here. I'm doing it that's probably 1/4 of an inch, right? 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to continue going with it until it's all sliced. Okay, I've sliced up my whole butternut squash. Obviously, some are from the top of the squash that have a completely nice round circle, and some are from the bottom that have the seeds. So I'm going to start, I think I had a pretty big butternut squash. So I may start with just the full disc and see if I can make it the whole way with these. If not, when we get to these, we just take out the seeds and use them. No big deal, okay? I'm going to bring over all of my layers. So I have about a 9x13 pan coated in cooking spray. I will be putting everything into there. We have our creamy, cheesy bechamel. Oh, it looks so good. Okay, we have that. Do I have enough room here? Let's see. And then we have our mushroom and onions that have been sauteed. All right. So we are going to start. Let's see if I can fit everything here. All right. I need spoons. Let's see. I have a ladle for the cheese sauce. Take the whisk out. Okay. Get a spoon for the, where was the spoon I was using? There it is. My spoon that I was using for the bechamel earlier, we can use that for the mushrooms, okay? So first things first, we are going to put a layer of the sauce, okay? So easiest probably to use a ladle, and I'm just going to put in a layer on the bottom. And you can smooth it around. Just about a 1/2 cup of the sauce in the bottom. You don't want to go sauce crazy in the bottom and not have any left over for the top, okay? So about a 1/2 cup. And then we're going to layer with put a single layer of our squash slices. So I think you can see me here, right? I'm taking some of the full slices, and it's not a perfect science. Like they're not going to fit perfectly in there. You're just making a layer. You could even cut one, let's see. I could take one, or maybe take one with the seeds, punch out the seeds. Easier said than done. Let's see here. You don't want seeds in your lasagna, right? But I see a little area where I could use, just bring the knife back in, careful, where I could use 2 of these. Let's see, I don't think I can lift up. On the ends, I have some open spaces. So I might as well use 2 of these, right, to cover up that area. So I have a 1/2 cup of bechamel. I have 1 layer of the squash slices. Now I'm going to spread 1/2 of the spinach mixture. So this was the frozen spinach and ricotta. This is a little tricky because it is sticky, and I'm probably going to use my hands. And that's okay. If your hands are clean, you're cooking for your family.
Yep.
That's totally fine, right?
My hands are clean.
I know you're good about washing your hands,
I
Marco.
love washing my hands.
Oh, thanks for doing that.
You're
Because we may have to use those.
We
Now, like I said, this is sort of hard to spread out.
it's so thick that it.
And I want to make sure I have enough for that second layer. I think they can see me over here, right, guys? All right, so I'm spreading that out. And again, this cooking is not about perfection.
Never.
I don't think it is. It's about that flavor that you're creating at the end.
One time we
So I've spread that out over. Will you say something?
One time we made a cake and it was not perfect, but it still tasted amazing.
Oh, I've done that many times. Yes. All right. So we have that. We layered on a 1/2 of our spinach mixture, and now we're going to do another 1/2 cup. I'm getting tongue-tied. Another 1/2 cup of our bechamel.
so many halves.
And I'm thinking this ladle is probably about a half a cup.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
And you can spread it out with the bottom of the ladle. Get it all spread out there.
We have a
Ooh, I
bucket
can't
with
wait.
seeds.
Now, no. Let's just leave them there. We'll clean them up afterwards. All right, so another half cup of the sauce. And we're going to do another layer of squash slices. Thank you. Yeah, I might cut one of those. Maybe I'll start on the other side like this. Maybe I could fit 3. Oh, look, I have a little half one. Thank you, hon.
Those you can probably just fit. And then you can put one on top of it so it comes.
Yeah, we could use, we could even go like this. Watch this. I'm going to cut one into 4ths and stick it in the middle of those holes. There you go. Look it. So we got it all covered. Ooh, I know, sometimes my computer turns off. Okay, so we have that other layer of squash, and then we're going to put on all of the mushrooms, okay? So these yummy sauteed onion and mushrooms. Here, you know what? Now I might leave it up here. Yeah, I think you're good. Ooh.
Oh, no.
I'm putting all of these over here. I'm actually gonna, you can see the bottom of my pot. Sorry about that. I am going to pour it all on and spread it out with the bottom of my spoon. Ooh, look at it. It smells delicious. I can't wait till you all experience this, and I hope you're doing it right now with me. If not, you can make it at a later date, right? You can see what you're getting yourself in for. All right, so we did all of the mushroom, and now we're doing another half cup of sauce. Can't wait for dinner tonight. I mean, this sauce alone is like...
The sounds.
It's cheesy. It's with the mushroom, the onions. Oh, yumma yumma. Okay.
Mushroom and
onions. Okay, that layer goes in. And now we're doing the 3rd layer of squash.
Okay, so we got one of these.
Let's see, I'm going to try to do...
Oh, this one's good. Put that one right there.
Nice.
Maybe.
This one right here. Like that. Good? All right, so that's another layer of squash slices. And then what are we finishing off with? The remaining spinach. Let's get that spinach on there because we used all the mushroom already. So let's get... I'm trying to put a little bit of each one, and then I'll spread it out. What do you think about that?
It's good.
That's a good idea, right?
Each one.
Make sure, because when you cut into it, you want to make sure everybody gets a good little... Oh, good. We have plenty here. You want to mush it down?
Mm-hmm. Put some more in that one.
Well, that's about all I have for... I can give the little bit that's on the spoon. All right, you want to mush it down? Spread it down a little bit? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to do that, and then we're going to add in another half cup of sauce. So basically the remainder of the sauce will go on top. And then we are going to do another layer of... Let's see what we have left here. 1, 2... Yeah, we got a good amount of slices here.
How's that look?
I think you're doing a great job. What do you guys think? Do you think she's doing a good job? I think so.
I don't mind if they say no.
Oh, I don't think they're going to say no.
I'm smushing it down so much. I think it'll still be good.
Yep. Now we're going to do...
Give that one. This one had the most, so I'm going to give some of that to this one because it needs more.
Oh, actually, you know what? We are just doing a half cup, not the remainder. So after that spinach, do another half cup because we are doing one more layer of that amount of sauce is going to get a little bit sparse because I want to make sure we have enough to top the final layer. So we have that, and now Margaret, we can put the final layer of butternut squash on top. Okay, I'm going to put that one down actually because it was... Let's just try to use these, and then those two. Okay, and now the rest of the sauce, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to get all of this out of here. I want all of it. I don't want to leave any behind. So I'm going to scrape it. If we have any Parmesan cheese left over, we will be, that my daughter has not eaten, we will be putting it on top.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. Do you have to spread that out too?
I will, but I'm trying to get it like... Sorry for all the metal clanging and for...
Do you need a spatula to spread it out?
What on?
you want to use a spatula to spray them?
All of our spatulas are in the dishwasher right now, so we are going with the flow. That's what I like to call it. All right, spreading this out.
Mushies and then Parmesan.
Well, actually, you can use any Italian blend, but I mean, I already bought Parmesan for this recipe, so I thought I'm just gonna put more Parmesan on top. Okay, so sprinkle about a half a cup of.
So all that.
Yep, just sprinkle it all over. A half a cup of an Italian blend cheese. It could be mozzarella, it could be Parmesan.
But
so
Parmesan is probably the best.
Asiago. I don't know what else.
I love Parmesan.
So we will be covering this with foil to cook it. So I'm gonna get that out. I've already heated my oven to 400 degrees, and we do not want the cheese to stick to this. So we are going to coat it with a little bit of cooking spray. So the side of the foil that you're going to put on top of your lasagna, coat it with some cooking spray before you then flip it over and put it on top. And seal it up. All right, this is going to go into the oven, 400 degree oven for 45 minutes. And then you're going to want to uncover it and bake it for about 15 minutes uncovered. So an hour total, 45 minutes covered, 15 minutes uncovered to get a little bit of crispiness at the end. So this is going in the oven. I cannot wait to see your creations. I will show you, I'll definitely share a picture of mine once it's done. But I really, really appreciate you joining me and cooking in my kitchen during this time where we can't be together in person, but we certainly can cheer each other on, create a sense of community, cook, enjoy meals together, and I'm very, very happy and honored that you joined me today. So have a great day. Thank you, Margot, for your help, and we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.